Alrighty, traders, this is Blake Morrow, and you are listening to the Daily Roundup webinar. Another day, another rally in commodity currencies. Once again, all right. So we're seeing we've been talking about the Aussie a lot and how strong it is, and yeah, this little spike down here about 2.5 hours ago, that was from this little headline: Chinese investment in Australia falls 58%. Via the FT, and the Aussie spiked down and then just ripped higher. Why? Well, I guess because stocks are still higher. But I look at the Aussie right now, and we're still in this ascending wedge. Working off the overbought conditions. Is it bearish? No. Would it be bearish back below 69 cents? Yes. Is that far away from here? It is. So, it's the conventional wisdom is not making sense at this point in time. Usually in a normal market, that would that article, that headline would have knocked down the Aussie pretty aggressively. But when you got stocks continuing higher, I mean, look at the S&P. I mean, this is a 4-hour chart of the S&P. Yes, we're very overbought, but that doesn't mean that we're bearish. We just have to work off some overbought conditions, and that's going to be the same with a lot of these currencies. So the currency market, one of the big movers I think today is actually the dollar yen. The dollar yen has just gotten absolutely crushed. I thought we were going to pull back, but I didn't think it would be as aggressive as it is. We are about ready. Hold on, let me turn this down really quick. We're nearing the neckline of the previous inverted head and shoulder pattern. So that comes in around 108.20. We're about 15 pips away from there. For those of you that might be looking for a bounce area in the US dollar, Japanese yen, I'm not so comfortable in trying to play a bounce in the dollar yen. And I guess the reason why is because I'm more worried about equities, because if equities come under pressure, then will the yen regain that footing for the risk off kind of safe haven trade, and because I don't know, I'm a little bit skeptical about doing that. But as you can see, here's the 38% retracement, and then so a little bit further, 108.10, maybe 107.92 would be the 50%. Maybe this is an area where you might get a bounce in the US dollar Japanese yen, potentially. The euro continues to hold up pretty well, but we're starting to show a little bit of fatigue up here. I think that doesn't necessarily mean the euro's a good short. As I mentioned on the morning edge, I'm the morning edge. Sorry, the face webinar. I'm actually looking for the euro to correct towards 111.50, and I think that's going to be a good area to be on the long side of the euro. But that doesn't mean I'm really comfortable about shorting it either. The 24% retracement comes in at this 112. You can see it's 112.6. Is that 112.62? 112.62, and then also you got the spike high over here at 112.58. So I would venture to say that below 112.50 might bring in a little bit of selling pressure for those of you that are looking for some sort of euro reversal. But it's not there yet, obviously. Cable's kind of all over the map. I haven't really been paying a whole lot of attention to the pound, but I do want to point out the Kiwi. The Kiwi continues to be extremely strong. Daily sentiment index on the Kiwi is at 93. So today it's going to be even higher than that. I thought we were going to come out of this ascending wedge today, but it doesn't look like it as of right now. But like I said, the daily sentiment index is at 93. So the Kiwi's probably, in its, I want to say like latter stages of this current rally. Is it a sell yet? No. And we have to really, this is an hourly chart. So we really got to start making lower lows, so we probably should get back below 65 cents. Before we can start looking at the Kiwi saying, okay, maybe it's about ready to turn the corner here, because we're just making higher lows and higher highs. That's a definition of an uptrend, right? The dollar Canadian continues to slide towards, well, it's at its lows right now. We more than filled the gap at 134.20. And like I said earlier this morning on the FACE webinar, a move down to 133.40, 133.50 seems pretty likely, and we're getting close. We're getting close to where we might start to see a bounce, and I think it would obviously coincide, in my opinion, with the Aussie peaking and with the Kiwi peaking, but as of right now, we're not seeing it. Now, one of the currencies that's really bucking the trend, which I'm surprised it is today, is going to be the dollar Mexican peso. Despite the strength that we're seeing in equities, the dollar Mex is not, and this emerging market currency is not pushing highs, or the dollar Mexican peso at lows. Is that a sign that we might get a reversal? Could be, but I think that we have to keep an eye on it. And one of the things that I'm specifically looking at, and let me grab this this alarm. I'm gonna, whoops, I didn't want to do that. I'm gonna grab this alarm. I'm gonna move it. Dang it, I didn't want to do that either. Remove. Let me grab this alarm. I want to move it to just around 22 cents or 22. I'd like to see it above 22, and a move above 22 would signal that, you know, the dollar Mexican peso is ready to turn, and maybe some of the commodity currencies might follow the emerging market currencies. That's something that I think like I said, I think we need to keep an eye on. We talked a little bit about the dollar yen, also the Swissy. The Swissy really buckled today, came under pressure. You know, that was a pretty big move lower, but we also, just to note, we've seen a big reversal in yield. So what looked like the bond market breaking down, down here a little bit, what looked like the bond market breaking down late last week, you know, we've recovered a little bit. Now bonds probably are about ready to turn again, you know, especially if this is a flag. Like if you look at a 4-hour chart and you think of it like this, or a pennant, something that looks like this, you know, we might be ready to turn in a little bit lower in the bond market, you know, which would mean higher yields. And so maybe it helps the dollar gain some footing, especially against like the dollar yen and maybe the Swissy. But I don't think that the downside in the bond market's over yet, but we did respect the 50% retracement thus far. So that's something we should also note. Other than that, guys, it's still, you know, commodity currencies continue to stay strong, and risk continues to stay strong. And I guess we should probably, I think we already looked at it, but just real quickly. Here's the S&P. I know we talked about the S&P here, overbought, working off overbought conditions, or, you know, overbought, hasn't started working off overbought conditions, but, you know, no signal here that we're ready to turn lower. The Nasdaq, we did have that breakout at the end of last week. The Nasdaq's a bit underperforming, but that doesn't mean that the Nasdaq is bearish either. You know what I'm saying? The Nasdaq is still holding on to gains, and here's the Dow, you know, at new trend highs. So, so anyway, guys, if you're listening to this, and by the way, I wish I had like some better ideas right now. And as you can see, I have no active patterns in play. That's because really it's all about, you know, currencies being a little overbought, or a little, you know, too overbought to be bought, but too strong to be shorted at this point. And so my ideas are a little bit lacking. Pedro asked any comments on the dollar yen. I think I made the comments that you probably got those already. And Nissim says IWM, or the Russell 2000, is the strongest right now. And yeah, the Russell is performing well. Let me see if I haven't looked at the IWM in a while. But yeah, I mean, hell of a recovery in the IWM. Let's see where we're at from a fib standpoint, because I don't know, because I haven't looked at it. I look at it intraday. I just don't really stare at it on a longer term basis. So the 78% retracement's coming up, and that would also coincide with some of these March highs. So I just pay attention to that. Overbought, yes. Is it ready to be shorted? I don't know. I would have to start seeing some, some reversal candles or something in the IWM to get excited about any type of downside here. All right, guys, have a great one. And remember, if you haven't tried out ForexAnalytix because you're listening to this on a recorded, make sure you try us out. It's only $1 for 10 days. So I'll talk to you guys tomorrow. Have a great one and be safe out there. Thanks.